Welcome back. Today we're making backgrounds for our scrapbook pages with a jelly plate. Let me tell you about the supplies I've pulled in addition to my 5x7 jelly plate. Some acrylic paints, my brayer, a comb or anything else you might make texture with. This is one of those plastic mesh bottle wraps that you get at the liquor store. And I've made a couple stencils with toilet paper tubes. I'm Emily, and you've found Emily's Paper Caper, where we're all about scrapping our stash and getting some pages done. If you're new here, go ahead and hit subscribe and the bell icon so you don't miss any ideas. I've been in the mood to play with color today, and so I've gotten out the gel press and some inexpensive acrylic paints, and I'm just going to experiment and have some fun. I plan to use the papers I'm printing today on scrapbook pages and maybe even as some card fronts. I could take the print now, but I've decided to add some texture by removing some of the paint with this stencil created with empty toilet paper tubes. The effect is very interesting, and I'll show a close-up of each of the finished prints. I think this is going to be very fun to add to my pages. Most of the paint I have is in tubes. This one happens to be in a jar. It's pink and it has some shimmer to it. I'm actually using a toothbrush from the dollar store to apply that, and after I get it spread out with the brayer, I will create some texture with that toothbrush. I like to keep a scrap piece of paper nearby to just kind of clean the brayer off a little bit. And now I'm going to go through and just add some brush marks with that toothbrush, and let's see what we've created. Sometimes you don't exactly know how things will turn out until you take the print. There's some of the pink and then some of the blue there from the last pull. I just really like that effect. There is still some paint on that brush left over, so I really don't like to waste paint, and it's fun to kind of use every last bit. So I'm just going to add some more onto the plate, and it doesn't look like there's a lot on the plate, and there's not, but there's still enough there to make a very interesting print. So let's see what we get this time. There's still quite a bit of paint there, and it certainly makes an interesting design. Now I want to try some yellow. You don't need much paint, just a drop or two. I'm going to continue to use that toothbrush to spread the paint. This will create an interesting texture for sure. Now I'm going to use the dish sponge to create some swirls. And so I've used two things to make some texture on this print, both the toothbrush and then that dish sponge. Let's see what this turns out like. Very interesting and so much fun to do. It's easy too. I have some fall photos in mind to scrapbook, so I've added some orange and yellow to the gel plate. I really like a variegated look, so where the two colors meet and blend, I really like that look. I'm going to use the liquor bottle mesh, plastic mesh, to add some pattern to this plate. And let's see what we get this time. That's the stuff for sure. You can use anything you have on hand to add texture to your plate. Now I've gone with yellow and a blue or turquoise, and I'm going to use a hair comb. This was in a set of combs that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I just keep those combs in the bin where I keep my acrylic paints along with the dish sponge, and it really is fun to use these random items to create some interesting effects with the gel plate prints. For this next print, I'm going to remove some of the blue paint with the heart stencil I made from empty toilet paper tubes. I'm actually going to print on a paper that I had already printed on. This is another way you can use your gel press. You can add layers by printing on top of things that you have already printed. The previous print had a lot of yellow in it, and now I've added this blue to the top. I think it's quite an interesting effect. Going back to orange and white this time, and I'm going to use that dish sponge again to create some interesting swirls. This is probably my favorite thing. It's a wonder I don't do this for every print I make. It's just so much fun to see what that pattern turns out like. It's so unique and interesting every time to me. You'll definitely be seeing these on future videos. If you have a gel plate, I'd love to hear what you do with yours, what you like to create with it, what you use on the plate to create patterns and texture. And what size is your gel press? Mine is only 5x7, and I think I really would like one that's 12x12 so that I can do backgrounds for full scrapbook layouts. With the 5x7 plate, I can definitely add these to backgrounds, even use them as accents or cut die cuts from them, punch things out of them, maybe even a photo mat or two. So I think they'll be lovely. And for card fronts as well. This time I'm going to use the hair combs again, but I'm going to do a crisscross pattern. I want to see how that will turn out. Definitely an interesting effect, and those combs came in a pack of like 9 or 10 combs for only $1. So the Dollar Tree is a great place to find materials to use on your gel press. I'm always scrapping my stash and trying something different. I hope you continue to scrap your stash. Here are some other videos with ideas to help you keep on scrapping.